In 1976, America was stunned when former child star Anissa Jones was found dead at a friend's home following a party. As investigators pieced together the events of that tragic night, they uncovered a heartbreaking story that revealed how far the beloved television icon had fallen. Behind the bright smile that millions of viewers adored was a life marked by family turmoil, relentless pressure, and a childhood spent in the unforgiving spotlight of Hollywood. Born Mary Anissa Jones on March 11, 1958, in Indiana, her life changed dramatically after her family relocated to California shortly after the birth of her younger brother Paul. Instead of finding stability, Anissa was caught in the middle of a bitter divorce and years-long custody battle between her parents. Although her father would eventually win custody, it was her mother, Mary, who first recognized her daughter's natural charm and became determined to turn it into a career. Enrolling Anissa in dance lessons at just 4 years old, Mary eagerly pursued every opportunity that came her daughter's way. The family's California neighbors quickly noticed the little girl's irresistible personality and encouraged Mary to take her to television commercial auditions. Their instincts proved right. Anissa landed her first commercial before she was 6 years old, promoting breakfast cereal, and several more followed over the next 2 years. Her adorable appearance, confidence in front of the camera, and effortless charisma made it clear she possessed something special. Those early commercials soon became the stepping stones to something far bigger. At only 8 years old, Anissa's life changed forever when a television producer cast her as Buffy Davis in CBS's brand-new sitcom Family Affair. The series centered on 3 orphan children adjusting to life with their wealthy bachelor uncle, and Anissa's sweet innocence made her the perfect choice for Buffy. Small for her age, she could convincingly portray a much younger child, making the character even more endearing. From the moment the show premiered in 1966, audiences instantly fell in love with the cheerful little girl with blonde pigtails and an unforgettable smile. But while Family Affair projected warmth and happiness on television, life behind the scenes was far less idyllic. As the sitcom became one of CBS's biggest successes, the workload placed on its young cast intensified. Anissa often spent nearly every day working, filming throughout the year and sometimes enduring 7-day workweeks just to keep pace with the network's demanding production schedule. For a child who should have been enjoying a normal childhood, the pressure was immense. The sacrifices seemed worthwhile as Family Affair climbed to the top of the television ratings and transformed its cast into household names across America. Buffy Davis became one of the country's most beloved child characters, rarely appearing without her treasured doll, Mrs. Beasley. The doll became a nationwide sensation, turning into America's best-selling toy, while Buffy-inspired coloring books, lunchboxes, clothing, and countless other products flooded store shelves. To the public, Anissa Jones appeared to be living every child's dream, but behind the fame, the foundations of a much darker story were already beginning to take shape. As Anissa Jones' fame continued to soar, merchandise bearing her image seemed to be everywhere. There were toys, lunchboxes, children's clothing, even a cookbook featuring her on the cover. Yet despite becoming one of America's biggest child stars, Anissa remained remarkably humble. Those closest to her often recalled her extraordinary generosity, especially toward her younger brother, Paul. Whenever she received gifts on set, she insisted that he receive one too. If there wasn't a second present available, she would happily hand over her own, believing everything should be shared equally between them. The warmth that audiences saw on television reflected who Anissa truly was behind the cameras. Her fellow cast members and the Family Affair crew consistently praised her kindness, intelligence, and professionalism. One co-star later remembered how effortlessly she connected with guest actors, always making newcomers feel comfortable and welcome on set. Her natural charm impressed nearly everyone she met, including one of the biggest stars in the world. In 1969, at the height of her popularity, Anissa appeared in her only feature film, The Trouble with Girls, where she shared the screen with none other than Elvis Presley. Although her movie career never truly took off, Hollywood continued to embrace her celebrity in other ways. Between 1967 and 1971, she appeared on at least 5 nationally televised talk shows, including programs hosted by Merv Griffin and Dick Cavett. She even presented an award at the 1967 Emmy Awards, becoming one of the youngest presenters in the ceremony's history. But while the public adored Buffy Davis, Anissa herself was beginning to resent the character that had made her famous. What had once been a dream role gradually became a prison. As she grew older, she became increasingly frustrated with portraying the sweet, childlike Buffy, feeling that the role prevented Hollywood from seeing her as anything else. That growing dissatisfaction slowly found its way into her performances, which lacked the same energy and enthusiasm that had captivated audiences in earlier seasons. As Anissa's passion faded, so did Family Affair's popularity. Ratings steadily declined, and in 1971, the hit sitcom came to an end after 5 successful seasons. Only 12 years old, Anissa welcomed the cancellation, believing it would finally give her the opportunity to reinvent herself. Unfortunately, Hollywood wasn't ready to let Buffy Davis go. Determined to prove she had grown beyond her childhood image, Anissa pursued dramatically different roles. She auditioned for the part of Regan McNeil in the 1973 horror masterpiece The Exorcist, hoping the disturbing role would shatter her wholesome reputation. But director William Friedkin ultimately chose Linda Blair, later admitting he simply couldn't picture America's lovable Buffy as a child possessed by a demon. The same problem followed her a few years later when she auditioned for the role of Iris in Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. Once again, producers struggled to separate Anissa from the innocent television character she had played for years, and the role instead went to Jodie Foster. A repeated rejection took a devastating toll. As her acting opportunities disappeared and Hollywood continued to see only Buffy Davis, Anissa entered her teenage years feeling trapped between the fame she no longer wanted and the career she desperately couldn't build. Searching for excitement and a sense of freedom she'd never experienced as a child star, she began experimenting with drugs, engaged in shoplifting, and attempted to live like an ordinary teenager. She even took a few regular jobs, but after spending nearly her entire childhood in front of television cameras, adjusting to a normal life proved far more difficult than anyone had imagined. As Anissa struggled to find her place outside the spotlight, her life began slipping further out of control. She reportedly experienced unpredictable mood swings, and the freedom she had spent years longing for quickly became difficult to manage. By this point, the painful custody battle between her parents was finally over, and Anissa and her younger brother Paul had gone to live with their father. However, tragedy struck on March 7, 1974, when their father suddenly died from cardiovascular disease, just 4 days before Anissa's 16th birthday. And although her mother Mary was still legally responsible for her, Anissa rarely returned to the family home. Instead, she spent most of her time away with friends, disappearing for days at a time. Mary strongly believed these new companions were a harmful influence and became increasingly desperate to reach her daughter. On several occasions, she even reported Anissa missing after not hearing from her for days, fearing that the once promising child star was heading down a dangerous path. Reaching adulthood brought another major turning point in Anissa's life. On March 11, 1976, she turned 18 and finally gained access to the money she had earned during her years on Family Affair. The fortune, which had been carefully placed in a savings account while she was a minor, amounted to nearly $200,000. For the first time, Anissa had complete control over her own finances. But instead of creating a new beginning, the sudden wealth fueled the lifestyle she had begun chasing. And within only a few months, much of the money was gone. Anissa spent heavily on parties and her growing substance use, and her situation continued to deteriorate. By the summer of 1976, she traveled with her boyfriend and several friends to Oceanside, California, a coastal town where they planned to spend time celebrating and enjoying their newfound freedom. But the night would end in tragedy. On August 28, 1976, Anissa Jones was discovered dead at the home of the father of one of her 14-year-old friends. The cause of death was a drug overdose. The amount of substances found in her system shocked investigators, with the coroner describing it as one of the most severe overdoses he had ever examined in someone so young. The girl America once knew as the cheerful Buffy Davis had died at just 18 years old. Because Anissa had always felt a deep connection to the ocean, her family chose to honor her memory in a way that reflected that love. After a small private funeral service, her body was cremated, and her ashes were scattered across the Pacific Ocean. But the investigation into her death was far from over. Among the belongings found at the scene was an envelope containing the business address of Dr. Don Carlos Moscoso, along with information describing the type and amount of a substance later identified in Anissa's toxicology report. The discovery raised disturbing questions about the doctor, who was accused of acting as a so-called Dr. Feelgood by allegedly providing Anissa with dangerous substances. At the time of her death, Moscoso was already facing scrutiny over his medical practices, and news of his possible connection to Anissa's overdose quickly attracted intense media attention. Reporters began investigating his background, while former patients and residents connected to his practice revealed troubling details about the popularity of his services. As investigators dug deeper into the circumstances surrounding Anissa Jones' death, they uncovered a disturbing picture of the doctor connected to her final days. Reports revealed that long lines of young people frequently gathered outside Dr. Don Carlos Moscoso's office, raising serious questions about his medical practices. According to an investigation report, Moscoso was allegedly writing more than 100 prescriptions every single day, seemingly with little concern about who was receiving them or why they needed them. Although Anissa was only 18 when she died, authorities discovered that she matched the profile of many of Moscoso's young clients. When a local news crew visited his office, they found it filled with teenagers and young adults around the same age as the former child star. The ease with which troubled young people could obtain powerful substances made the situation even more alarming. Investigators claimed Moscoso only required a valid identification card before providing prescriptions, reportedly charging just $5 for whatever medication customers requested. With mounting evidence against him, authorities finally took action. Just 6 days after Anissa's body was discovered, Moscoso was arrested at his medical office in Torrance, California. He faced charges related to illegally prescribing substances, including Seconal, to the young actress, along with additional accusations connected to profiting from improper prescriptions during an undercover investigation. In total, he was charged with 11 separate offenses. However, the man accused of contributing to Anissa Jones' tragic death would never face a courtroom verdict. Despite his medical career, Moscoso suffered from serious health problems, including diabetes, hepatitis, and high blood pressure. On December 6, 1976, he was hospitalized and died just 3 weeks later, only 4 months after the death of his most famous patient. Still determined to seek accountability, Anissa's family filed a lawsuit against Moscoso's estate, seeking $400,000 in damages. In 1979, a court ruled that the doctor was partially responsible for the young actress's death, assigning him 30% liability. The decision resulted in a settlement of $79,500 awarded to Anissa's family. But even that painful chapter was not the end of the tragedies surrounding the Jones family. In 1984, Anissa's mother Mary faced another devastating loss when her beloved son Paul died from a drug overdose. Paul, who had been Anissa's closest companion throughout her childhood fame, passed away on March 15, just days after what would have been his sister's 26th birthday. He was only 24 years old. Anissa Jones was not the only member of the Family Affair cast whose life ended in tragedy. Her co-star Sebastian Cabot died from a stroke in 1977 at the age of 59, while another cast member, Brian Keith, died by suicide in 1997. Together, these heartbreaking stories serve as a painful reminder of the immense pressures placed on child performers and the lasting emotional struggles that can follow early fame. Behind the smiles, applause, and television success, many young stars faced battles that the public never saw. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. I hope you discovered something new and interesting today. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss our next destination. See you in the next journey.